Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
It's just things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candies.
Welcome to Dollar Tree Theater. Today we are reviewing a movie that I was blown away by. It's a 1995 film. I think it's a 5.9 on IMDb, right at about an hour and 30 minutes long. We are talking about Canadian Bacon with John Candy, Rhea Perlman, Alan Alda. Actually, 1 hour and 35 minutes. This is an MGM release. It's a very, very basic DVD. And Alan Alda from MASH. Of course, you know Rhea Perlman. And you know John Candy. If you don't know John Candy, check him out. And again, this is a 1995 release. Let's talk about Canadian Bacon. So, we have Boomer, and we have his friend, Honey. He's kind of in love with, kind of a little bit, but doesn't really say whether or not they're together or not in the film. But they basically are anti-Canadian, and they are trying to basically reestablish their lives. They're kind of like security, you know. And so the president of the United States is getting really bad ratings as he is up for a new term. And he wants to get the ratings up, so he decides to have a war that's kind of like the Cold War, but one with Canada, because his ratings and his approval rates are down, and he figures by starting a war that his ratings are going to go up. So they decide to mess with Canada. Now, Boomer is kind of like a goof. You know, he's one of those standard John Candy characters that even though you want him to do something to a certain degree, he does it worse than you want him to do with the comedic levels in the film. That's kind of what his character is. And so basically, all these rumors start about Canada, and the Americans start to prepare to start a war against Canada. And that's pretty much the way the film goes. I don't want to spoil the ending because the ending was really good. But that's the premise of the film as well. I was watching this movie and I was thinking to myself, you know, it'd be really cool. Because I didn't look at everybody that was in this. I was like, if Dan Aykroyd had like a cameo in this. Little did I know, he did. He had a cameo in this. He played a Canadian officer stopping some people, pulling them over, and that was a hysterical scene. Some of the scenes I did like in this was where they were at the hockey game, and Boomer was complaining about the beer, and then it started an all-out riot at the hockey game that caused also the Americans to start hating the Canadians, as there's all these fake conspiracies, like some of the American government were trying to make it seem like the Canadians were bad people and whatnot. So Boomer and his friends, they would take trash over across the border and drop it there in Canada and try to make Canada look like a dirty place and try to make it seem like they're bad people. It was hysterical, man. I can't believe it's taken me this long to watch this movie. I don't know why. I've always wanted to see this, but it was just really good. And I think one of Rhea Perlman's probably one of her best roles, honestly. She even arm wrestles Mad Dog Vachon in this movie, who is Luna Vachon's, I believe that's her dad. By the way, shout out to Al Licard, who's a distant relative of the Vachons, I believe. But, so yeah, so, you know, Boomer and Honey just keep making things worse. Honey ends up being apprehended by the Canadians, and Boomer has to go find her. And then this big catastrophic event happens at the end of the film things just go south. So basically, it's just one of those films where, you know, John Candy's character just keeps making things worse for the situation, and it's standard John Candy, and I love this. I don't get the universal hate for this movie. I think some people feel like, well, it makes fun of Canadians too much, or it makes fun of Americans too much. It makes fun of both of them in a funny way. And if you really take a good leap into the film, it's hysterical. It's subtly hysterical. Just really good comedy. I mean, I had a blast with it. And again, Michael Moore, this is a really good film. I did like Bowling for Columbine. That was pretty good too. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on Canadian bacon. And just for the record, there's also a guy with the longest stogie I've ever seen in this movie. And also, I prefer regular bacon than Canadian bacon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, how you like your bacon. Peace.
Welcome to the house on the A6 block. I'm just chilling on the porch in my chair I rock. I'm your host Jimmy Biggs with the coolest grip. The only light outside is the full moon lit. Welcome to a world mixed with evil and good. If you ain't plan on staying, then you misunderstood. This ain't a nightmare, a figment of imagination. Step aside and the house will awaken. Fellas, ain't you ready for